Good morning, and welcome to the change management module. Okay, so I guess this is all of us for this morning. Was expecting more people since this is a highly valuable class and entertaining as well because it's very practical. And we learn about the big process in Windchill and how we implement the change management. So in this module, we're going to report problems. We're going to monitor the progress of the project changes. And we're going to experiment with multiple roles so we can go through this step by step, right? To the change request, change notices, completion of tasks, and see how this process goes across multiple roles and members. So like I said, it's a very, in my opinion, it's a very important class. So we've previously done yesterday the managing of work, where we explored a bit more through the interface as well as the promotion request. So this time we're actually making, we're actually going to explain to you the benefits of using the change management process. We're going to see some differences between a promotion request and using change management. And then we're going to go through this whole process. Yeah, identify the needs, investigate, and then make the change, plan the change for the changes to happen. And also we're going to review a bit the different change administrators. There's 3 of them. So we're going to look at the responsibilities in this process for the administrators. So has anyone here used the change management process before? I'm sure you have. Have you used it in Windchill? I'm just asking if you're accustomed to this process. Well, I'll take that like you have not interacted with it much. So yeah, I should probably go and explain the basics of it then. Okay, let's get started and let's launch our virtual machines and set up our Windchill environment. So like we do in all classes, we're going to launch the virtual machine and start the all-in-one Windchill app from the desktop. My machine is still loading a bit. It's running a bit slow. So, all right, Stephanie. So it's your first for you. I'm guessing for everyone else, it's the same. So it's great. New information we're going to find out here. My VM is still like loading, so. But you go ahead and start your Windchill. Oh, there you go. Okay, so launch the all-in Windchill app here. It's bigger. And just minimize these screens. Remember, don't mistakenly close them or something. So, why do we need a change management in a PLM? Well, it's basically a process, a consistent process that we can execute throughout a product lifecycle. So what we do with the change management is that we initiate, manage, and participate in this process by creating these change objects, we call them. We're going to explore each and every one of them. So we have problem reports, change requests, and change notices. So all these changes can be tracked and communicated with team members, enabling validation of that change. And then you deliver the updated information to the enterprise. So it's a highly visible process. Yep. So these are some of the benefits of using a change management system. So Windchill basically allows all the stakeholders to contribute and participate in the change processes. So even customers can come in and create a problem report and participate in this process. Everyone, all the stakeholders. Yeah, you have lots of visibility across entire teams to understand the changes and the impact that they have. There's lots of enterprise value to be gained because you're going to reduce the scrap and rework by making these changes and analysis a lot sooner, right? So that's just an introduction there. So let's explore the actual process. Let me show you the steps of this process. First of all, as you can see here, this is in comparison with a formal change process. And you have like several concerns or problems. Now, usually a change system is not clearly understood or accepted by all the participants. It's highly bureaucratic as well and slow. Yeah, so you need some sort of an informal process that bypasses these official processes. Also, changes can become lost in the system. You need to take like special measures to expedite these critical changes in order to maintain production effectiveness. And then you also have the inefficient change processes that can cause scrapped materials, missed delivery dates. But these are some of the challenges. I mean, some people have been using paper-based system for the change management, right? And if you have used the paper-based system, obviously you have encountered these problems. So implementing the change process offered by our Windchill will greatly benefit. And you can see here, like some of the benefits implementing the change management here, this process. It's very easy to understand, very easy deliverable, consistent, flexible, creates reports. You have lots of traceability in the steps that you're going to make in it. Yeah, you have business rules which are defined. Get the right task to the right users, right? So, like I said, Windchill provides you this process with all the necessary tools to accommodate change throughout the product lifecycle. So we have 5 major steps, guys. So let's go through these steps as we're gonna go in this class through all of them. Yeah, so that's basically this whole the whole module here is based on these steps. So number 1, identify the need. This is the first step. What's happening here? This step is the goal here is to enable any product development contributor or even external third parties to report problems on products or enhancements. Yeah. And this information is captured using this Windchill object called problem report. So remember that when we identify needs, we use problem reports or enhancements, and they can be submitted by the change administrator one, or basically anyone. Yeah, even external parties like customers, they can come in and say, hey, there's a problem with this product. Yeah, and they can submit a problem report, or an enhancement is required here. Second step, then you're going to investigate that need that was submitted. So when you have a problem report or more that have been validated, so they first have to be validated, of course, we're going to go through that process. Then you have a change team, and this change team can proceed with an in-depth investigation on that request. So it's called a change investigation, and that change investigation is captured in what we call the next object, the change request. Yeah, so we have problem reports and change requests. And the goal here is for the product experts to assess the scope of the change, feasibility, downstream impact, cost, especially cost. Yeah, that's one of the most important ones. And of course, does it have a business justification for this change to happen from a business standpoint? All right, that's what we do here. Then comes the change planning. So in this step, the goal is to plan detailed implementation of the change. So this is where you make the plan. This falls on the change admin too. We're going to talk about these roles also. So implementation of change includes what? Work tasks, assigning work tasks to the team, assigning resources, scheduling. And in this step, we create what we call in Windchill a change notice, another object. So change notices. Then you comes the change implementation. In this step, you basically implement the plan. So upon approval of the implementation plan, all the work tasks that have been assigned here will be automatically delivered to the users that are designated to handle those tasks. So the tasks are automatically sent out. And then you have to work through the change the design, apply the enhancements, and so on. And finally, when the change has been made, before you actually release it in the system, you have to go through a review and you have to do an audit of that change. Yeah, so that's the final step, and this falls in the hands of the change admin 3. So that's the whole process. That's what we're going to focus here today. So like I said, all of those 5 steps generates change objects. Yeah, we capture all that information using change objects or change items. And here you can see all the change objects or items. So you have the problem report. Like I said, again, just to remind you, a problem report can be completed by anyone suggesting a change, like an enhancement, or reporting a problem with a product. Typically, the problem reports documents problems submitted in testing, on the field, or by customers themselves. Then you have the change requests. This can be used to gather common problem reports. So they basically, you have like more of these problems or just one. You gather them up all together in this change request. And then you submit a formal request. So this is like the formal request for this change to happen. However, as a caveat here, a change request can be initiated even without a problem report being present. So it's optional, actually. it can be launched with no problem report. You just, okay, this change must happen, right? This enhancement must happen. You don't need a problem report. And then you have the change notice, can be used to assign tasks and design the plan to complete the implementation and implement the changes. Basically, this is the change notices. This is where you assign the tasks. Yeah, assign change tasks. A variance, it's something extra here, not always used. It's some sort of authorization. It's an authorization that asks you to move away from the design configuration for a specific number of units. We call these variances like deviations or waivers. So it's basically a deviation from as design configuration before the part is built. A waiver is some sort of written acceptance of non-conformance, something like that. Now, all of these change items on this list can be associated with one another and the Windchill parts and CAD documents that they affect, so they are connected. Now, this process is basically an out-of-the-box tool that uses industry standards out of the box. However, you can completely configure it so it can be set up to meet your company's change management requirements, because every company will have like their own requirements for the change management. So the change management administrators can change, create, configure any of these parts in the change manager. They can change these and these. So these are configurable by the administrators. Again, this is something that the administrator can do. So the change administrator can create his own company-specific change object association by developing specific business rules. For example, out of the box, our process involves these association rules. So first you create a problem report, then the request, then the change notice. But the administrator can come in and say he has unique associations. For example, you create a problem report and then a change notice. So you skip the change request. Yeah? So you see you can change, you have like flexible configurations here.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, sorry for my absence. I have a problem to connection.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're a bit late. We just gone through the introductions here in what we're going to discuss in this course. So have you managed to turn on your VM and everything?
Please?
Okay. Have you also launched the Windchill setup app?
That I have to do.
Okay, so launch your virtual computer and make sure to start your Windchill application, as it takes a bit to load.
Okay. What I can choose between desktop view and task manager?
Desktop view, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
It takes time. Yes, it's okay. Thank you.
Yes, it will take a bit, but for now, we're just going through some of the theory.
Okay.
So yesterday we've discussed the promotion requests in work, yeah, in the work module. And here you can see like some differences between promotion request and the change management. So, for example, like some of the advantages of the promotion request is that it's a very simple tool from moving objects to one state to another. That's what we do with the promotion request. So it only require a set of approvers to review and approve a new object state. It's a very simple promotion method. Now, also you have some other characteristics of promotions here, like you have you can set up the different states. It's basically an effective tool for sign-off reviews and moving from prototype to production states. Now, the change management is much more robust. It's like a business process support. It's also easily customizable for the needs that you have. Like we've outlined in the earlier slide, the administrator can change that and can be very flexible. And it's basically just a lot more complex. As you can see, the process mapping for the change process, it's a lot more, it's a lot more complex. With all these objects involved, you involve the business as a whole, more team members get involved here. And it's a bit longer as well. It's not as easy and simple as a promotion request. But this is usually happens when you have to make like a big revision or modification to a part or product enhancement. You have to use this change management process. So, based on this section here that we've discussed about, let me put up a poll here. Which of these objects or change items capture information? I'm going to put the poll in a second. Single choice. Okay, let's see the results. I'm expecting all good answers here. All right, we have quite some different answers. 60% A, 40% B. Well, the majority chose right. We capture the information in a problem report. The change request is the formal request that's being sent to make that change, but we capture like enhancements, like, okay, we have this, we need to do these enhancements on this product, or this product have these problems, and we capture all this information with several problem reports, because you can have like several of them in this process. Okay. So now we're just going to go through that steps, through all those 5 steps in this process. So identify needs is the first step. So we're going to create problem reports. We're going to look at some problem reports and identify this, we'll complete this identify need process. the first step here. So the goal in this step, like I said in the beginning, is to enable the product development contributors or any external party to report problems and enhancements to the product. And all this information is captured in this object called a problem report in Windchill. Again, so anyone can submit a problem report, even customers. Okay. As you can see here, anyone can come in and create a problem report, but then you have to actually analyze this problem report. So the change administrator one, or CA1, I'm going to call it, okay? It's too long name to say it. The CA1 has the primary role in this step. So once the problem report creator has documented the problem, they will submit it. And this change, this report will have the state of under review, will be delivered to the CA1, and he'll analyze the problem and report to confirm that this problem is valid or not. So the CA1 can take one of these for actions. Actually, there is just 3 actions, basically. He can confirm, there's 4 actions. So he can either just confirm the problem, which will move forward in the process, or he can reject the problem report. Like not reproducible, not verified, or will not resolve. Or it's a duplicate. Maybe there were more of these submitted. However, there is another choice here, this one. It's not very clear in this slide. The change admin can say, okay, this problem is it has a good solid base. However, I require more clarification on it. So he can send it back to the author. Now, if it's for some reason it's rejected, the problem report immediately goes in a resolved state. That's it. You cannot reopen it anymore. Yeah. It will send an email to the creator. It just says, okay, it was closed for this reason. Now, if the change admin requires a more technical review from someone else, he can delegate this task to a technical reviewer. However, he's still the person responsible to control the status of this problem report. So he's the one who ultimately will say, okay, I approve or reject this problem report. Now, throughout this class, we're going to go through many steps, guys. But remember, if you are just a regular user in Windchill, you're not going to see all of these happening, okay? Even if you're just a CA1, you're not going to see all the steps happening. We're now going like through multiple roles we're going to go in this class. But you as a user, like a regular user with some permissions, maybe all you can do is submit a problem report or receive a task. That's it. What happens next? No longer something you can see. So what the problem report contains? Let's look at it a bit. So it describes the product problem, right? It has its attributes here, who created it, the version, and a number. In the content, in the primary content here, you're going to assign like the description of the problem or the product enhancement. And then you have like relationships with the affected part, the impacted part, the CAD document and the part itself. And of course, the document with the description of the product. Yeah. And it forms relationships with them. Okay. Time to go through the exercise. I'm going to skip through this slide here. We're going to go directly in the Windchill and we're going to create a problem report. It's a simple wizard, like set attributes, affected end items, affected objects, any local attachments if needed, and associations. So every user has this ability, guys, right? That to create a problem report. Everyone has permissions to do so, just so you know. So you can go and create a problem report. So we need to redesign the front housing of the chainsaw 220 to increase the clearance for the lower mounting screw. So this is an enhancement that's we're going to submit in this change process. Okay, let's launch Windchill. Open any browser of choice. We're going to log in as Anna Chen. So A Chen. Okay, let's go to the home page of Anna. This is our workspace here. So we have we actually have a workspace on the chainsaw front housing series. Okay, let's not use this one. Actually, it makes it too easy for us. Let's hide the workspaces. Let's hide that table. And let's use the search. We're gonna practice a bit with the searches. So we want to search for chainsaw 220 front housing CAD document part. Whoa, how do we do that? We can simply search for housing and the wildcard. And we can see lots of housings like rear, front. We're looking for the 220 CAD part. This one. Not chainsaw 220. All right. Let's go to view information about this housing CAD part here. So this is where we need to do the enhancement. So I'm going to submit a problem report on this one. So we can go in the actions menu. And we have here the first choice under the new dropdown, new problem report. Yeah, so it's a simple wizard here. We're going to give it a name. What was the enhancement? Increase the clearance of the lower mounting screw. We can name it something similar like that. Let's say bottom mounting screw clearance. This is the problem or the enhancement. Where is the requester from? I'm going to say from field. What's the category of this problem report? You can choose here whatever. I would say it's a product improvement, right? And a priority, let's put it like a medium priority. It doesn't impact it in any way here. We're just playing around. And let's put a comment. See the attachment for more details. So let's say I'm going to put an attachment with all the details there. So we're going to put in the description here. I'm going to bold this one. Okay. Type next. Affected end items. What's the affected end item, guys? You tell me. Go ahead. Arlette? I see your hand. You can talk.
Yes, I have problem to make my connection on this page. It asks me surname and password. So what I can do? What's the surname and password to make connection, please?
So we're logged in as Anna Chen. You're meaning the login for Windchill, right?
Okay. And the password?
So A Chen. You have to type A Chen.
Is the same like the surname.
A Chen. Password is PTC.
Okay.
I mean, you've been to my class yesterday, right? On the work?
No, because I have problem to.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, because we've done all these basics, like the interface logins in overview in the work classes. That's why I'm wondering, like, if you've gone through these classes before, just so we're because this should be like an easy process for you. Let me check your VM just a second. Let's see what's going on there. Arlette. I'm gonna have a look. Okay, so service unavailable. Let's see. Have you? It seems it didn't launch the Windchill environment. Have you closed anything here, maybe, or something?
No.
Because you should see the Java applets, which are not here. Okay, let me close this then. So yeah, the Windchill environment didn't launch the services of Windchill. So I'm gonna shut them down. Might take a minute here. Oracle shut down. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna minimize this. And this. Okay, give it around 3 minutes or so.
Okay.
And you should see here at the bottom like 3 Java applets appearing. Like if you see mine, I have like 3 little Java windows here.
Ah, d'accord. Okay.
But don't press anything now, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't just leave it. Leave it minimized there. Don't close it.
Thank you.
It will take like 3 minutes to get in. It takes a bit to load. All right, guys, I was asking here. So we're making a problem report on a front housing screw clearance. So what's the affected end item? What is the end item that we're affecting here? Well, our product is the chainsaw 220, right? This is an optional step though, but still, we have to select our affected end item here. All right, so chainsaw 220, you're going to press on the plus sign here, which says add affected item. And I'm going to search and I'm going to select chainsaw 220 here. And it will be added in this table here. Okay, let's go next. Affected objects. It's already selected now, the housing front part. Okay, next. Attachments. We did say that we're going to attach some instructions here. So we have a local file that we can attach. So we're going to say attach new local file. I'm going to go to this PC, local disk W, and the name of the lab files is called the WCFD change CHMG. It's hard to say this name. We have here a chainsaw 220, and we're gonna assign, we're gonna attach the front housing document. It's the only document in this whole folder, so. Yeah, Arlette?
Yeah, I have signed Java, but it don't work when I put HN name.
I still think you have to give it a bit more time, though.
Okay.
Give it a bit more time.
Thank you.
Even if the applets appear here, they still like need a minute or so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, where was I? No worries. So we put the attachments, and finally there is associations, which is an optional step. We could just say now, okay, let's finish. Asks us if you want to submit the change object now or later. Yeah, we're gonna say now. Problem report successfully created. So Stephanie, in the attachment, set attachment step number 4 there, you have to select the button from the toolbar called attach from local file. And then we go to the folder, Windchill change management lab files on the computer. And there is only one document there that we're going to attach.
Hiya. I can't see the Windchill folder.
It's in this PC, then local disk W. When you browse, you have to browse for it in that wizard. When you say attach from local file, it will give you like a browse.
Yep. Was it the WCFD?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
CHMG
Yeah.
lab files.
Right, got it. Lovely, thank you.
No worries. Okay, I think we've just completed this this problem report. You can see it in the updates table for Anna Chen here. In the updates, bottom mounting screw clearance, which is currently under review. All right, so there's nothing we can do now as Anna. We're gonna have to go through the next process. Okay, Arlette, can you try again now? Actually, I'm gonna try it. Because I have your computer here. All right. There you go, you're logged in as Anna. So if you can go and submit the problem report now. So let's see, how do we do it? We have to search. Actually, yeah, you can go in the navigator. Yeah, let's do it another way, guys. We can go and browse for the part. You go to the navigator. And you browse for, actually, you cannot browse for it because it's not here. Oh, yes, it is. Chainsaw 220 series. There we go. Chainsaw 220 series. We go to folders. Engineering folder. And we're looking for the housing front 220 CAD part, which is this one, that one. So you can go to that, go and say view information about that part, the housing front CAD part.
It's very small. I cannot see it very well.
Yeah, it's small. I think you're using a very, very small screen here. You can zoom in the browser because you're zoomed out now. So if you can zoom in.
Like that, okay.
Yeah. But you have a very small screen, which is problematic. I can barely see what you're doing here. So, yeah, find the housing front 220 CAD part. There you go, that one. You recognize it by the symbol. It has like the block, the blue square block. That's a CAD part.
Yes.
You know, that's the part. So you go to the view information about this part. So I think you have to scroll. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
And here is where you can create a problem report. So you go to the actions menu in the top left, and you say new problem report. New. Yeah, go to new. Now you just have to fill in the details there. So, well, I wouldn't put your.
Not my name. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna create a problem report called Arlette. Hey, no, not even Anna. No, it's not her problem. So, this is the actual problem. So, what's the problem here? You can type bottom screw clearance. Yeah. So the name of basically the problem of the product you're gonna name it, and not the name of the screw W. So screw clearance. As the requester, this is where the requester is coming from in this field, and you're gonna say field. It's coming from the field. Then you have category of the problem, and you can say, hey, this is a product improvement. I'm making an enhancement on the product. I'm gonna set the priority of medium. And in the description, I can say, hey, check the attachment for details, right? Because we're going to attach something. And you're going next. And now I'm leaving up to you the control. Here you have to select the affected end item. So what is the end item of the housing front to 20?
Item here.
Which one is the end item of the housing front to 20? So what's the name of the product?
I don't know.
So we're in the chainsaw to 20 product, right?
Mm.
That's the end item. It's a chainsaw. And this is a part of that product, the housing. So you click on that green plus sign there where you initially clicked, yeah.
This? Okay.
Yeah, that one. Press search. Press search directly. No, not yeah, no, you could just press search it. So because here you have to go through. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's press search. Don't search for anything, just press search there. And select your chainsaw to 20. Just select that checkpoint on the left. I think it has a button on the left. All the way to the left. Yeah, that's that checkbox there. Yeah,
Okay.
say okay. And okay. Yeah, it's a double search. A quick search again. I don't know why it's doing this. And yeah, select the end item here. So that was the context, and now this is the end item. See, the end item looks like this symbol with and that's the end item. Okay, click OK now. Great. So you just added the end item there. You're gonna go next.
Next.
Yeah. The part is already selected, the affected part. So next.
Again next. No.
No, here you have to attach. Go back. No. Cancel. Go back. And here you have to attach from a local file. That one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And go to this PC, local this W. Now check on the left on the navigator there. This PC. Just click on or like that. It was okay. So the W disk, and the folder is called CHMG lab files. A bit further up, down, go down a bit.
This.
No, see this one. And then you have the chainsaw. Select, open the chainsaw and that document. And now you can press finish and say submit now.
Yeah, thank you.
That was it. Now, what's going to happen next, guys, is that the change admin one will receive a task which says analyze problem report. So the CA1 is the one who has to make an analysis. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to log in as the change admin one for the chainsaw product, which is Sandy Miller is our CA1. So let's go back to our virtual environment. We're going to minimize Anna Chen, and you're going to open another browser. So another browser. So we can log in as S Miller. So S Miller. Password PTC. So S Miller is basically our CA1 for the Chainsaw 220 product. So we can go to the home screen of Sandy Miller, and you should see in My Tasks table the problem reports that she has to analyze. She has like 3 of them. Front housing, series manual, but we're looking at the latest, the one with Anna Chen. This one at the front, so the first one here. Let's click on the name, analyze problem report, which will open the actual task details. This is similar to the promotion request, guys. Remember, in the promotion request, you have like the instructions based on your role, what you have to do. Yeah, your role. You can see the comments written by Anna Chen here. See the attachments. Oh, look, Anna sent me an attachment. I should probably check it, right? So I can open that document and I can see, okay, what's going on here. So front housing redesign, increase this mounting screw clearance. Well, pretty straightforward to me, right? It needs an enhancement here. This was done in the Creo view, by the way. Just taking a screenshot from there. Okay. Cool. Now, if you want to see like the affected object, you can look at impacts, which shows you the affected objects. If you go on this object, so you can just go from object to object, and you can see here next in the related objects tab, there is a table called where used. And you can see it's used in the housing assembly. And you can just go and see, okay, and it's related to the housing part. Of course, this is a CAD part. And referenced by a document, the drawing. Okay, what else can we do here? Let's see, changes. In the associated changes table here, we can look for the front housing screw clearance. We can view the information for this one. And you see we're back to another problem report submitted by Anna for the front housing screw clearance. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back to our initial problem report. We can use the recently accessed table here. So our problem report is 00022. And then you can see here the affected end item. the members. Yep, so there's many different things we can do here. Okay. We have to go to the actual task to complete it, so we cannot do it from here. I see. We can just see the attributes, like affected, associations, attachments. Yeah, we have to go back to the home page, and we have to click on this link, analyze problem report, to actually complete the task. So we have to click on this link. And in the comments here, we're going to say problem report is valid, and we're going to say confirmed. We're going to choose confirmed, and we're going to choose complete task. And you can observe that the task has disappeared from my tasks menu. And I think Anna can also see that this task was approved. Let me refresh her page. Yeah, you can see that in her updates table, the problem report she submitted has a state of accepted. So she can see that this was accepted. Okay, any questions so far? Right. Hope it's clear by now. It's pretty simple so far. It's like a promotion request. Yeah, we just have like a reviewer, and you approve the problem. So another question here: which file types can be used as attachments when creating problem reports? What can we use as attachment in a problem report? If you still remember. Okay, closing in 3 seconds. Congratulations, everyone answered D. Very good. All of the above. Documents, drawings, or external URLs can be used to create a problem report. Okay, guys, I'm going to go quickly now through this section, and then we're going to take the break to the investigation here, and we're going to leave these ones for the end. So in this module, we're going to focus on the second object in the change process, the change request. This is the second object, right? So we have a problem report. It got approved. So now the change team has to proceed with a change investigation. And the change investigation is captured within a change request. So we have our product experts now assessing the scope and cost and feasibility of this change. Okay. That's the goal. Like I said, creating a change request doesn't require necessarily the creation of a problem report. However, a change request will have to, you'll have to gather all the accepted problem reports related to it, if there are any. Now, the change request creator role is only limited to a limited number of Windchill users. They're called change request authors. They're usually engineering personnel, members of the change review boards, or change administrators, the people who can initiate these change requests. And they should attach all the problem reports that they need to resolve, if any. So you create a change request, then you can, reassign it to like a technical reviewer to assess the impact. Maybe you require more clarification on it. And then the change request state will be sent to a open state. And it goes through this change process now. So the change admin one must evaluate the change request and make a business decision to proceed with the change. Turn it back to the author, and or design where to reassign it. As you can see, we have two ways. Once you've analyzed the change request, you have a fast track and a full track, or rejection. Of course, you can reject them. We're going to go through these different tracks here. So depending on the benefits of this change request and the costs involved, if the benefits greatly outweighs the cost, the CA1 can go through the fast track directly in this process. Usually this cost to benefit ratio is determined by a threshold by the company policy expressed in dollars, right? So if you have a threshold there that you have to follow, basically. So if you go to the fast track, it will go directly to the change implementation plan to the change admin too. Now, just a statistic here, but 80% of the change requests in any company usually goes through the fast track. Now, full track changes must be sent to a change review board committee. And so it's a board meeting, which is headed by the CA1 himself. So these board committee will analyze again this request, and then they decide if they will approve it, reject it, or send it back for the clarification. Okay, so it goes through a board that will decide together how to proceed. Maybe the costs are high, and then you require some more more clarifications there. So you can create a change request directly from an existing problem report. You can take a problem report and you can create the change request off of it. And the primary objective of a change request is to describe the product defect or proposed enhancement in much more details so you can make a business decision on it. You have to gather all the affected parts, the documents. You have to document the risks, the benefits, the costs involved. And also you're going to record all the business decisions that were made during this process. So there are many benefits to complete a change request and record this information. Yep. You have to set up a business case for this change. Okay, like I've just said, the cost, justification, the impact, and the reason. This is what happens in this analysis here. The change admin one also performs an impact analysis. Like, because yeah, a significant change to like a document or a part may involve some scrappings or inventory reworks, which impacts your manufacturing margins, right? The inventory impact is also can affect any items in the inventory. So all the items that are currently have been produced with that defect have to be either scrapped or reworked. So there's a cost there. So you have to outweigh, okay, does this benefit outweighs the cost? This is what happens in the analysis. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take up the role of an engineer for the chainsaw series. We've analyzed the impact and performed a cost analysis. And we've decided, yeah, it's time to create a change request based on that. So we're going to log in back as Anna Chen. No, this is S. Miller. Where is Anna Chen? This is Anna Chen. So go back to your Anna Chen. Let's go back to our bottom mounting screw clearance problem report and say view information. So go to your problem report. Now, in the details page here of this problem report, I can create a change request out of this problem report because it was accepted, yeah? So this problem report was accepted, so I can create a change request out of it. So I can say here in the actions, new change request. Now, there is a checkbox here which says propagate information. Basically, what it does, it imports all the information from the problem report into this request, so you don't have to type in anything. So I click this box, and you see it already fills in all my details. But now you have to fill in a proposed solution for this problem. So I'm going to say here, create a new front housing version. Okay. This is the proposed solution. Okay. And there is a cost here, but again, this is not something we're going to put in. We're going to go next. And we have to ensure that our end item, chainsaw 220, is in this list of affected end items. And it is. We can go next. Affected objects should be our part. However, now we also need to collect all the affected objects that's related to this part, including the documents and so on. So here's what we can do. We can select our housing, and we're going to click on this icon here, which says collect affected objects. Okay. Collect affected objects. And it opens up a menu. We're going to select our housing part. And we're going to say collect all the related parts to this CAD part. Collect related parts. So we have the part here. Okay. So yeah, it will not only affect my CAD design, but it will affect my part as well, right? So that's why we collect all the items here. Okay, let's go next. My attachment is already here, the front housing redesign. Next. And associations. So we have an associated process object, which is my problem report. So this is the associated problem report. Great. What about reference objects? There was a maintenance issue on this on this product, so we could add it here. So we could say maintenance. No results found. Okay, I think you have to put the asterisk at the beginning as well. Yeah, yeah, you put the asterisk because maintenance is like a middle term here. So this is another problem report that was submitted for a cost reduction. So we're gonna say that it's also referencing this. And we're gonna say finish. Now, when it asks you here, if you want to submit the change now, we're gonna say no. We're gonna say submit later. It means this request is not yet ready. We still have to put in some stuff into it. So it still creates the object, change request. It's still created. However, it's not yet submitted. But it will appear in your home screen in your tasks as a task. The change request here. The name of the task is called submit change request. Yeah. So it's a good idea to say submit later if you're planning to add some edits to this request. Okay. So for example, let's say I want to add something. Let's say I want to add another affected object in this one. Here in the affected objects. I want to add, but I have to edit it, all right? So open the change request and decide you want to edit it. So you want to add some more stuff to it. I want to add another affected object. So I'm going to go to step 3 here. And we're going to add the maintenance manual. I'm going to search by name here. Maintenance. Chainsaw maintenance manual B1. Yeah, this one. Because the manual will be affected as well because of this change. It has to be rewritten. Okay, let's say finish, and we're going to say submit later again. Okay, so let's say, yeah, you've made all these changes, edits, and you're ready to make, I don't know, some time passed, and you're ready to make the change request submitted. So now you're going to go on the task, submit change request. You're going to click on the task. I'm going to type in the comments here, all required documents are attached. and complete task. There we go. It's under review now. Any questions here? Do you have any difficulties? Are you following me? Okay, I did say we're going to take a break after this one. And the next step will simply be the same as we did with the problem report. We're going to log in again as another IT administrator. We're going to review the change request and then decide where to route it, fast track or full track. Okay, so change request was submitted. And we, as a change admin now, change admin 1, we're going to analyze and decide to go through the fast track or through the board or reject that. But we're not going to reject it, obviously. So we're going to go to the analyze part. Okay, let's take a break here, guys. Let's refresh a bit and come back in. Okay, we went a bit longer today, so I'm going to say only 8 minutes this time. See you soon. Everyone back?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Who else? I hope everyone else is not sleeping here. I see you all pretty quiet today. Maybe it's not the most engaging of classes, but in my opinion, is very impactful to learn this process. So let's recap a bit. So we've started by creating a problem report for an enhancement on the front housing for the screw clearance on the chainsaw. We've submitted the problem report. It got analyzed by a change admin, which accepted the problem as being valid. Then we went on and created a change request, specifically doing like a cost analysis, submitting much more details, proposal for a solution, what we have to do, submitted the documents and the affected items, and now we have to analyze that change request. So the change admin 1 must decide that if the cost to deploy this implementation is being outweighed by the benefits that will bring. So he has to make a business decision, and based on that, he can go down several paths, like choose the fast track, which will bypass any other approval process, and it goes directly to the CA2, or the full track, which will go through the board, the change review board. That's what we're going to do next. We're going to log in as the CA1 again, which is S. Miller, our S. Miller account. So we're going to continue this process. We're going to analyze the change request and do a cost analysis and impact analysis and all that we've discussed. So we're going to go to our S. Miller account. And if we refresh the home page, we should see that we got a new task here, the change request, which the name of the task is analyze change request. So let's see what we have to do here. So to complete the analysis, we have to read the special instructions below, if any. Well, there are none. Review the information page of the change request, coordinate the technical analysis, and then to complete it, we have to do these steps here. So let's say we've done all that. We've looked through all of these. We've reviewed it. We've called it a product expert here, a technical reviewer. We've looked over the objects, and I'm going to say here in the task completion table, I'm going to say this change will not be very expensive. And we've decided to go with the fast track approval. So it doesn't have to go through a change board committee. We can just approve it to the fast track. Okay, complete. Great. So we just carry on with our process. So that's all for this exercise. And I think Anna Chen is able to see. Okay, you can see now the change request screw clearance here is now under an implementation step. So now it will go through a change notice and an implementation plan must be set for it. So that's what we're going to do next. This slide here is explaining what will happen if we go with the full track instead. Like I've already shown you why. You have to schedule like a change review board meeting, which will be headed by the change admin one. It can happen through an offline review or online review. So the change review board will review this change proposals, but only in case like the cost exceeds a certain company threshold, right? Otherwise, you won't go through this full track. So you have a meeting of the board, you document the board's decision in the comments, you have to specify in the comments there, and specify any directions that the change notice will take in the special instructions field. And you have to specify the board's decision. This is a business decision, guys, yeah? So, yeah, this is a talk that goes beyond. Okay, let's see, one more poll on this section here. Which of these options is not available when you try to do an analysis of a change request? Is not. So which of these options is not available? Okay, I'm going to close the poll. So we have 5 answers, 3 answers C, 1A, 1B. Okay, pretty diverse. The correct answer here, guys, is C. This option is not available. You cannot just approve it. A change request must be decided where to go, through a fast track, a full track, or you just reject it altogether. Those are the options, yeah? Approve is for problem reports. All right. Let's go to the implementation plan step next. We're going to plan the plan. So we're going to go to the next object here. This is the last one in this process, guys. It's called a change notice. Okay, so here we're going to start a detailed implementation of the change. We're going to include like scheduling, work tasks, resources that we're going to assign. And this is all captured in a change notice. So in this discussion question here, the role of the CA2 is to create that plan. So the CA2 creates the plan that records all this work that must be done. And he has to monitor the work as it is done. So he's responsible for all this process. The admin too. So he will create the inventory of parts, documents that must be modified to implement the change request. He will delegate activities to another resources, and he remains responsible for the whole plan. Again, as he creates a change notice here, the implementation plan, once it's created and captured in the change notice, again, you can send it in a full track or a fast track. If you choose the fast track, the implementation tasks are directly assigned automatically to the individuals that they were assigned in the plan. For the full track changes, the next step is here is to obtain the approval of a change notice from the change implementation board. So if the board committee believes that the plan is incomplete, it may be sent back to the CA2 for further planning. So basically, a change notice, guys, is a work authorization to resolve a problem. And usually it's spawned by an approved change request. But it can be created in reference to more than one change request. Or it can even be created without a change request if the administrator configures your process. I've talked about that in the beginning, like you can skip some steps there. We can also create a new change notice from the change request workflow that like we did with the previous exercise. So there's different workflows here. We're going to use the example to create the change notice from the change request. Again, we have that same options to copy the fields from the change request using propagate information, or if we create a change notice manually, you have to define the fields manually, individually. So it's more complex if you do it that way. And here in the define implementation plan is where you define the change tasks and the participants. This is where you create the tasks. So what's a change task? A change task is a work instruction. Yeah. You can have many change tasks in a change notice. You even have like change notice templates that auto-generate tasks. And you have to assign them to these change tasks are assigned to a group of users usually, so multiple individual users, okay, to be completed. Like I said, Windchill supports the use of predefined change notice templates. So you can use templates to apply to the change notice that you're creating, and it will automatically create, the templates automatically creates tasks, objects, and attributes. And you can create your own predefined templates as an administrator. Okay, so we're going to log in as a change admin 2, and we're going to create a change notice to implement the approved change request. And we're going to create an implementation plan with 2 change tasks. Well, sounds pretty easy, right? So guys, we're going to open a third browser. So we're going to log in as a CA2. Open Edge. The login for the CA2 is B Taylor. B Taylor. Password PTC. And you can see B Taylor received a task from my approved change request. So it went to the fast track and it arrived to me. And my role here is to create a change notice out of it. These are the instructions I have to do here. So change request has been approved. You've been given the assignment to create a change notice. Read the special instructions below, review the information page, and then create a new change notice. And here you have to set up and define the plan, attachments, changes. And you can see all the previous information on this. So to create a change notice, we're going to create it from the change request directly, so we save some time. So I'm going to click on the subject line here on the change request directly. It takes me to the change request. And I can say here, create new change notice from the actions menu. Change notice. And I'm going to use the propagate information. Okay, I'm going to leave it as it is. And next. Implementation plan. Already a task was generated automatically from the template. There was an initial template here, if you've seen. This is a default example change notice template, and it and it generated this automatic task. We will come later and edit these tasks, but for now, let's go to the next window. Yeah, let's skip the attachments. And we have here associations. So associated process objects. Obviously, is my change request is here. And we're not going to put any other reference objects here. Okay, we're going to say finish and submit later. So we've completed the task, but now we still have to submit the change notice after we've defined the plan and everything. Yeah. So it's in an open state. Now, from the updates table here, where it says the bottom screw clearance here, we can right click and we can say edit directly from here. And we want to define the implementation plan now. So we have a default task here. We're going to modify this task first. So we're going to say edit change task here for this individual task. We're going to delete the name of this task. And we're going to type modify front housing. And in the assignee, we're going to assign, not us, obviously. We're going to assign Anna Chen. Chen. Okay, you have to type the name. And in the reviewer field, we're also going to set a reviewer for this task. Will be Sandy Miller as the reviewer here. And Anna will be the one who received the task. And we're going to type here in the description, we have to increase the mounting screw clearance according to specifications. Okay, next. Now, affected objects. Let's select the two parts, housing CAD part and this one, the WT part. And we're going to select from the table toolbar here revise. We're going to do a revision. This is the revise page. We have our two objects selected here. And you see it says like the current version is A2 for both of them, and the new version will become B or B1. Okay. I'm going to say OK. And look here at the resulting objects table. It will become a B1 version after this is done, after the task is done. The disposition for creating a new housing here is already set to use existing. So use the existing housing, it means, guys. You have other options like you have to repair it, scrap it. So scrap the housings and recreate it, rework. Use existing. We can do that without scrapping this material. Okay, let's click finish here. Okay, we've created a task. We said we need two tasks, right? So we're going to create another task in this implementation plan. So we're going to say new task. So click on new task here. The name of this task is to update the documentation. Update documentation for chainsaw. Obviously, since we're making a modification in one of the screw clearances, the document needs to, like, I don't know, what's the diameter of that clearance? Maybe it's 10 centimeters. It will be increased to 15, right? So the people who's reading those documents know what type of screw they need to use, what type of wrench, and so on. So the document needs to be changed. So the assignee for this task will be Erica Hill. And again, the reviewer will be Miller. Sandy Miller. And I'm going to copy paste something for you guys so you don't have to type by hand in the description field here because it's too long. You can put this there. So in the chainsaw service manual, there was a statement, a notice there that indicated that you had to use a special wrench to access that front housing bottom. So now we need to remove that notice because a special wrench is no longer required since we're making a modification, right? Makes sense. And now we have to specify what's the affected object, the service manual. I can type here asterisk service asterisk. So the service manual is affected by this change. Now we have to select the affected object and we're going to say revise. So we're going to create a new revision of this document. Okay. It will be B1 revision. Okay, click finish. Okay, we can see here like a breakdown. Also, you can set the sequence of these tasks. like the order they should be completed in, right? We can say that the modify front housing is the first priority, and this one follows a sequence, the second priority. So that one is the first priority, the sequence of tasks. Okay, we go next. Attachments, no attachments. Next. Associated process objects, yeah, and click finish. And we can say submit now. And you can close the browser. The change notice is now under review. You can see it here. Okay. All good here? All clear? Question there, Stephanie?
Yeah, I just wondered, could it possibly be the same person that raises this through the first 3 steps? So I can't honestly remember what the first 3 steps were, but it'd be the same person that raises it.
No, unless the team was organizing that way, but usually no, because you should have like a change admin 1, a change admin 2, which are 2 different people.
Okay.
So you'd have to go through these people.
Okay, and when we just did that last exercise where we allocated the job to Anna first, and then is it possible that you just assign that to the same person, both of those jobs? Because they're not like linked together. Is it not just the same job in the one?
So one is an assignee, and then the other one was the reviewer in that task. You're referring to the tasks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One is a reviewer, and one is an assignee.
Okay, that's fine.
So Anna, in that case, Anna was responsible for making the modification, and Miller was just the reviewer for that task. She was assigned to review Anna and her work, basically. But that's optional, by the way. You can remove the reviewer from the equation. You can just not assign a reviewer and just have the assignee for the task. Or you can add multiple assignees for that task, like a group of people.
Yeah, so that might work better for us here, maybe.
Yeah, you can put like an entire group that would be responsible to implement that task, not just a single person.
I was just trying to see, because obviously I work within the change management team, and I was just wondering, like, just trying to link it to see if it works along how we're doing it and how the processes are similar. Because I think at the moment the same person will like create the change, they'll do the change notes and things like that, and then hand it over to us to review. So I just didn't know if it was the same person that would be doing the first 3 steps, but I assume
usually it's not. I mean, it can, but usually it's not.
Okay.
Depends how depends how your company is set up and how your change management policies are set up. I mean, they can vary. It's very flexible. This system is very flexible. You can create your own system and you can have a person doing all those steps and reviewing all those steps. It's fine. That person can be both the CA1 and 2.
Okay.
It's not like a mandatory, hey, you need 2 people or 3 people. No one's saying that. It's a company policy, basically, and it's your own system. But the thing is, Windchill gives you this flexibility to change the business rules according to your own system.
Yeah.
What we're using here, this is our default out-of-the-box rules. And our out-of-the-box rules, we have different change admins.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I just wanted to check. That was all.
Sure. Good
Thank-
question. Though.
yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
Does this clarify also? Maybe some other people were wondering the same thing. And this is here, we're reviewing the full track. So what we've did now with the change 2, we just went to the fast track. If you go to the fast track, when you create a change notice, it will go that the assignees for those tasks will be automatically assigned those tasks. Nothing else happens. Or you can go the full track and you go through the board. And then here the change admin 2 has to create a full track implementation plan, like a structure, a sequence of change notices, change tasks. It has to come up with this entire plan to present to the board. So he must take much care in the planning of this and the sequence of this work to communicate it, to implement this change. So he has to specify the scope, the solution, the impact analysis, business justification and cost. So there's lots of planning going if you decide to go with the full track here with the board. So if the change was set on the full track, then you have to be approved by the change implementation board before its implementation. The CA2 will be actually the chairperson for this board. So their job is just to schedule the meeting and set the agenda and conduct the review. If it's rejected, it can be sent back to the CA2 for further planning or rework. Okay? And the notice will remain in under review state until it comes back for review. And if it's accepted, it proceeds to the execution phase. However, there is also you see here in the third option, here in the routing option, the reject. If the board rejects the test, so the company decides this change will not proceed, the change notice will be set in a state of canceled, and all the corresponding attached change requests, problem, everything we just did up until this point will be set in a resolved state. They'll be closed, and you cannot reopen them. So all of those tracks, all the changes and all of that will be declined, basically. So you can hit a wall here at this point. So which of these roles is the primary role during the change planning segment of the change process? The primary role in this change planning, in the implementation plan. Okay, let's see the results. Very well. Everyone answered correctly. It's the change admin 2 involved here. Okay, we're going to go to the last step, guys, here. So we're going to finish in time. So in this module, we're just going to explore some of the assignments that will complete this process, this entire process. So in this step now, guys, we will implement the change. Upon the approval of the plan, all the work tasks will be delivered automatically to the users, like Anna Chen and who else? Erica Hill, I think. So they will receive those tasks automatically and they will have to execute it. So here's like the roles. So once the plan is approved, even by the board or the fast track, the assignee, so the assignee of the task in the plan will edit the product data and make the modifications as per the instructions from the change notice. So that's the role of the assignee. He's the one who makes the edits. The reviewer, so if you set a reviewer with the assignee of the task, the reviewer just evaluates the changes the assignee made, just verifies that they're clear and concise. However, the reviewer has the ability, guys, to route back the task to the assignee if he does not agree with it for further updates. So you see the reviewer here has a role to play still, because he has this approval process also. Until the reviewer also approves the assignee's edits, all the documents and parts will remain in the in-work state. They will not be released. And finally, the final step, even when the reviewer approves the changes and the tasks are completed, the final step is to audit. It has to pass the audit. So you see, you have like data creators, which is the assignee. Data users are the reviewers. So they approve the work of the creators. That's the reviewer role. And here you can see, like, again, what I've just told you about the reviewer, what its role is in the implementation task. Documents any comments here, puts in comments, reevaluates any updates, ensures the work aligns with the original change notice instructions. It's valid, it's concise. And he can send it back to the creator for further work. And now this is the final step, guys, the audit, before you release the change to the system. So when all the tasks have been completed, now comes another role, the change admin 3 in the equation. And he audits this result to make sure it's valid. And again, depending on the change admin 3 and his discoveries, he can approve or reject the change notice or send it back to rework. So again, there is another wall here. Yeah. If he for some reason rejects it, everything ends. This whole process ends. All the problem reports, all the corresponding change requests. So this is the final step, an interactive state here. We don't have an exercise with this one, guys, because it's pretty redundant. Basically, you get another task, which looks like this. You can see it in my slide here. It's called audit the change notice. So when the change notice is implemented and the tasks are completed, the change admin 3 receives this audit change notice. And he has to basically examine all the objects, the bill of material changes, verifies that each part has the proper has been done properly, And the CA3 will then record his decision whether to approve this task changes or send them back for correction to the individuals responsible for the implementation. So you could see like why you should not use the same person for all of these. Is a bit like it can be subjective, right? So you have like all these different team members, like engineers and product specialists that have to take these decisions. So the change admin tree is the final person who has the final decision here. And that completes this process. Now, this giant list you see in front of your eyes is basically what we just did today. This is how all the process works, like put together here. Everything we did today. So I'm going to give you like a minute to analyze this like carefully and just go through the steps from the beginning again. Yeah. Now, of course, what we're missing here, from what I'm seeing, is we don't see the problem reports. Yeah. Because they're optional, so you can create the change request without a problem report, but usually you should have like some problem reports, enhancement suggestions here. But the change process begins from here, from the change request. These are the objects that we use. And you can see what happens if we choose the full track or fast track. So you open the change request, you submit it for review, or you can go through a review board for implementation. And then you go to open a change notice. If it goes to the change implementation board, it can be audited or canceled. It's not the most clear of the diagrams here. It makes more sense when you actually work through it. But anyway, at the very end here, once the change notice audit ends, that change notice that went through all of these implementations will be set to a released lifecycle state. And all the objects associated within the change notice tasks will be set in a released state. They will no longer be in work state. So all of them will be released. The documents, the parts, the CAD parts, they will be released in the system. All the data objects. And finally, this is a wrap-up question here, guys. True or false? Do all change implementation tasks within a change notice must be completed before the change notice can be considered resolved? Basically, do you have to complete all the tasks in the notice for the notice to be resolved? And then obviously set in a released state. And this is the final question here. So let's see the results. I'm hoping we got a 100% response rate here. I really hope. And yes, we do. 100% responses. Very good. It's true. All the tasks in the implementation plan must be completed for the change notice to be resolved. So guys, we've just gone through this whole change management process in Windchill. And we've learned like what are the different roles that participate in this whole process, how to identify the needs, like submitting problem reports and enhancements, creating a change request, then investigate the need with the CA1. Then you design a change plan that goes on the CA2, which also design the implementation tasks and assures this process will be monitors this whole process. And finally, the CA3 here will review and audit the change notice implementation, which will result in the objects, all the affected objects being released, in the data being released, and then the changes implemented. And that's how a new revision or enhancement but it's not always the case. Like sometimes scraps will result out of this. Like what you have currently in stock in the inventory, they have to be reworked and they cannot be reused. So you're going to have to scrap all of those. But again, that's a business decision when you do an impact analysis and all that on the costs and benefits ratio. This is a whole discussion here around that. That's why we have this change review committee boards and change implementation board. So any questions here? Did everything, made sense? Was it too difficult? Was it hard to follow all of these steps? Anywhere you got a bit confused? I've tried to keep it simple. I've tried to just go through by step. Okay. Well, 3 classes are down. You have 1 more to go, which is the engineering bill of materials. Like, what is the bill of materials? Yeah, that will be the last section in this introduction to Windchill fundamentals module. So I hope you enjoyed today's class, guys, and I hope you now have an understanding of how this process of change works. And now you can identify like the differences, like a promotion request. You can see how simple and quick the promotion request is and how this change process works and how many people are involved here. So I wish you all a great rest of the day, and I'll see you on the next class on the bill of materials. Have a good one today.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Enjoy. Thank you, Abdulaziz.